Firing the gun. It is the free press. I am the Cherno Journo.
I can hear you. Come on up.
Alright. Do not shoot, I am the press.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine, mate. I'm coming up. Alrighty. What do you want me to do with the gun? I can drop it in this loot pile? That makes you feel better?
Just take the other corner that I'm pointing at and keep your gun trained on the stairs in case somebody else shows up.
So you want me to raise it then? Slow it.
At the stairs in case somebody else pops up.
Yeah, but do you want me to raise my gun? So I need to raise it for that.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as it's at the stairs.
Yeah, no props. Okay, well you tell me when you feel safe and I'll start the interview. I could sweep the hills for heat signatures.
Oh, that's right, you got the LED5.
Yeah.
Space age stuff. Yeah, I did a little patrol before you got here, and I didn't see much of anything.
Well, it's a nice location, but I don't really want to do interviews so far away because I'd like to do a two-shot as I record it. But again, this is to make you feel safe. I can do it from here.
But do you have an alternate location or something?
No, I just mean I wouldn't mind getting a bit closer so I'm not so wide apart for the actual interview stage. But I understand the paranoia, so...
Yeah, you can come closer, that's fine. Just don't point the gun directly at me.
Well, I might lower it then. This is good. This'll work. Oh, it's rain. It's atmospheric.
Yes, very moody.
It's not bad. Okay, well, I'm fraps in this. I assume you don't have an issue with that.
Nope, no problems.
Okay, well, NFK, we are here at Zub Castle. And you've agreed to an interview. We've met up. We're feeling safe. Well, you're feeling safe. I don't mind if you kill me because I'll just respawn. This rain is very loud, but let's see if we can do it anyway. Tell me about your first murder.
Right, well, it was in Pustoshka, and to just give you some context for what happened, the previous 2 lives I had been killed by players. Both times I've been ambushed in barns. So I was really extra paranoid that time around, and I had a couple of close run-ins with zombies. Right, the sequence of events is a little weird because what happened was I was going through Pustoshka. I had a crossbow with me and a hatchet, and I had just switched to the hatchet because I'd lost my last crossbow bolt. And I saw movement in the supermarket, and so I went to go investigate, and then I heard the shooting. At which point I sort of flattened up against the wall of the building next door to the supermarket, and I saw these zombies just running down the street, and I heard more shooting. So at which point I just sort of stayed hidden for a while, and then I risked it and I ran into the supermarket for more cover. And there was nobody there, so I think they had been there but left. And so I was thinking, okay, well if they've left, they're not coming back here, so I'm just going to wait out all this crazy shooting.
Yeah, and so you didn't really plan on killing anyone when you were in there?
Not really, no. I was just trying to... my logic was, okay, well, they've already been here, so they're not coming back. They're going to be shooting... I figured they were just shooting zombies and they would run out of ammunition eventually. But it went on for like minutes. I mean, the guy had like a shit ton of ammunition, and so the more this goes on, the more I'm thinking, shit, what am I gonna do if he runs back here, for shelter or something? Am I just gonna sit there and let him come at me while I hold the axe? Because I had a revolver as well, so that's when I decided to switch to the revolver. Because I knew I could hold off the zombies with the axe if they showed up, but the revolver was for other players. And that's when I decided to switch to the revolver. I said, that's why I just made a decision. I was like, okay, I'm not taking a risk. If this guy shows up through those doors, because I was behind the counter, in the corner. So on this particular go-around, I had been having a hard time finding gear, and I was just, playing avoidance. I was just avoiding other players a lot.
Yep.
And so when this maniac was shooting up the town, I was like, okay, I can't just sit here and let him shoot me too. So that's when I decided to pull out the revolver and wait. And so within minutes of me thinking, if he comes through that door, I'm going to shoot him, that's exactly what happens. He rounds the corner, and he comes bursting through the door, zombies on his tail. But he had a revolver in his hand, though. So, and the funny thing was, I feel like there was a pause. We sort of just looked at each other for a second, and then I opened fire. And I don't know if I hit him initially or if I didn't hit him, but he fired back. And the rest of it was a kind of a blur. We just traded fire back and forth. I reloaded the revolver 3 times. He dodged behind shelves, and and I was behind the counter. And then finally, he was shooting stopped. He just had the revolver trained at the corner around which I couldn't see. So I was waiting and waiting, and then I realized I was bleeding, so I had to bandage myself, hoping that he wouldn't pop up and shoot me while I was bandaging. And after I'd done bandage myself, I just said, okay, fuck it, I'll go check it out. And I checked around the corner, and around then he must have died because the fly buzzing started. But until then, he must have been unconscious or something. I must have clipped him just as he was reaching that corner.
And then how did you feel after? What was the... Obviously, once the heart rate slowed down and the breathing came back to normal, what did you feel?
Well, the funny thing was that afterwards I felt pretty shitty about it because that a few hours previous, on this very spot here at the top of Zub, I had logged in, and right after I had logged in, somebody else was already here, right?
Yep.
And they didn't shoot me. They actually engaged me in conversation, and all I was armed with was a crossbow anyway, so I probably wouldn't have been able to drop on them even if I tried. But the point was they could have shot me and didn't. I made a pathetic offer to try to trade with them. I was like, oh, well, I've got some flares and bandages. What do you want to do? And I guess they just figured I was a waste of time, and they just said nothing and ran down the stairs. So somebody else facing the exact same situation that I had faced later in the day decided not to shoot me, but then when it came to me having to face the situation, I did shoot. Yeah. So I felt kind of shitty about it afterwards.
Fair enough. And then, what about vehicles? Do you have a vehicle on a map, or have you found vehicles before?
1 second, my hunger meter is flashing here. I'm gonna...
Okay.
Just eating a can of pasta, I have a hunger meter flashing.
Fair enough. Alright, I'll ask...
as far as vehicles go, I have found ATVs, motorcycles. I found a Ural once, but I didn't keep it because it's so big and noisy. But mostly ATVs and motorcycles. The motorcycle's my favorite. It's the most awesome vehicle in the game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I've done so much cross-country traveling across the northern and western edges of the map, and honestly, I've never really... In the countryside, I've never been ambushed. It's only... And that's because I think I don't take routes that go to anywhere. I'm not traveling on the way to Stary Sabor or going between 2 cities or something like that. I'm always in the middle of nowhere going to nowhere. And the places where I'm most cautious is if I'm approaching Berezino for a medical run or something like that. Yeah. And then, and all the times that I've been ambushed have been at places where there's loot, inside of barns or once I went to Northwest Airfield once, and of course I go to the firehouse and I get ambushed there. So generally speaking, if I'm in the wilderness, I feel much safer than anywhere inhabited.
Yep. And so the plan is now just to keep traveling north and surviving the apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to what I do best, which is going to be looking for tents, because I'm curious to see if I can still find them, because I know that this particular update has a lot of issues with tents. So maybe people will stop using them or something, I don't know. But I'm going to look for tents and vehicles.
Yep. Alrighty, well, NFK, thank you very much for interviewing with the ChernoJourno. Mr. ChernoJourno out.